All right, welcome to your very own deep dive.
Excited to be here.
Today, we're heading straight to Ayemenem House
Oh, yeah?
in India, the setting for Arundhati Roy's novel, The God of Small Things.
Okay.
But we're focusing on Chapter 8 specifically,
Okay, great.
where we first meet Sophie Mol, a young girl visiting her Indian relatives for the very first time.
Right.
Get ready, though, because there's some intense family drama coming up. We're going to uncover some serious cultural clashes
Oh, yeah.
and all the subtle ways that societal rules shape even the smallest interactions.
Interesting.
Plus,
Yeah.
we'll try to figure out just why the cook kisses Sophie Mol by smelling her hands.
Oh, wow.
I guarantee that's a detail that will stick with you.
It's definitely a memorable introduction to the world of Ayemenem House. And you're totally right. Sophie Mol's arrival really sets off a chain reaction of events that exposes all these tensions that are already there bubbling under the surface within this family.
Absolutely. Let's start with the house itself, though.
Okay.
Roy describes it as grand but aloof-looking, with 4 shuttered doors,
Right.
which were meant to allow women to interact with vendors
Oh, wow.
without actually revealing their lower halves.
That's fascinating.
It's like the house is practically a character in itself.
I totally agree. It's amazing how the architecture reflects these old social customs. It
Yes.
gives us this little glimpse into a world so different from our own,
That's
right?
for sure.
And speaking of glimpses into the past, we can't forget Mama Chi, the blind matriarch of
Oh,
the
yes.
family.
Oh.
Imagine this. She's sitting on the veranda, playing Handel
Wow.
on her violin, wearing a starched sari and diamond earrings.
Oh, wow.
She's got this commanding presence, despite being blind, with scars hidden beneath her carefully constructed bun. It's just a hint at a past we're just starting to uncover.
Oh, I like that. Now, she also has this pickle business, Paradise Pickles,
Yes.
which I found so intriguing.
Yeah.
She's obsessed with making these perfect pickles, but the bottles always leak, and the pickles end up way too salty.
Oh, interesting.
I was wondering if Roy's using these leaking bottles to symbolize something bigger, you know?
Oh, absolutely. It's such a brilliant metaphor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about it. Have you ever felt like you're trying to control every single thing in your life?
All the time.
And things just keep slipping through your fingers. Like, try as you might, you just can't get that perfect seal.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Mama Chi is battling here, this overwhelming desire for control, for absolute perfection, but in a world that's inherently imperfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
And then there's how she judges people,
Oh, yeah.
based entirely on their social standing. Like, take Margaret Kachama, Taco's ex-wife.
Right.
Mamachi can't stand her, all because she's a, quote, shopkeeper's daughter,
Right.
and doesn't fit into Mamachi's super rigid social hierarchy.
And to add another layer to that,
Yeah.
Chaco is Mama Chi's son. So not only is Margaret an outsider to this family, but she's also the woman who, quote unquote, stole Mama Chi's son
Yeah.
and then had the audacity to leave him, which ironically might have made Mama Chi hate her even more
Even more.
if she had actually stayed.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So it's like she's trapped
Exactly.
between this total disdain for Margaret, but also a strange possessiveness
Oh, yeah.
over her son.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's this weird detail where Mamachi secretly slips money into Margaret's laundry.
Wait, what?
But it never actually gets to her because the washerwoman keeps it.
Wow. That's fascinating. What do you make of that?
I don't know, and I think it really highlights the complicated power dynamics at play. Mamachi might completely despise Margaret,
Yeah.
but there's also this sense that she's trying to assert her dominance,
Right.
maybe even her twisted generosity, in this way that just ends up totally pointless. It's this silent battle where no one really wins.
Yeah, it adds this whole other layer to their already strained relationship.
Right, and then in this super tense environment, Jan,
Yeah.
Sophie Mol, and her mother.
Here we go.
It's described almost like a staged performance,
Yeah.
with the, quote, blue army of factory workers watching from the sidelines.
Yeah.
What do you think Rory was trying to convey with this grand entrance?
I think she's really highlighting just how performative family and societal interactions can be, you know?
Like putting on a show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone's playing a role. They're totally aware of the audience, and they're conscious of how every little thing they do
Yeah?
is going to be perceived.
Like actors in a play following a script they had no part in writing.
Exactly. And that sense of performance, of being watched, is made even stronger by Velutha being there, a worker who has this unique connection with the family.
Oh, right, Velutha.
Roy describes him as having this swimmer's body and a white, sudden smile, and right away there's this spark of attraction between him and Amu, Rahel's mother, which definitely makes things a lot more complicated.
Oh, yeah. That look they exchange, it's like electric. The air just crackles with this unspoken desire.
Totally.
And you just know it's going to cause problems.
Oh, absolutely. And remember, this is India in the 1960s, where societal boundaries are super rigid.
Right.
And certain kinds of love are just completely forbidden. Roy actually calls these unwritten rules love laws.
Love laws, wow.
And they basically dictate who can love who based entirely on their social standing and caste.
So these love laws, as you call them, seem to weigh really heavily on everyone, even the children.
Oh, for sure.
Like when baby Kochama warns Rahel about getting too, what's the word, over-familiar with Velutha.
Yes, baby Kochama, who's Amu and Chaco's aunt.
Right.
She totally represents that older generation clinging to tradition and social order above all else. She sees Velutha's closeness to the twins as a threat to the family's whole reputation. She's terrified of what might happen if those lines get blurred, you know?
Oh, for sure. And speaking of blurring boundaries, we got to talk about Amu. She's got this rebellious streak that really comes out in this chapter, especially when she clashes with Chaco over her comment about a damn godforsaken tribe.
Oh, yeah. That outburst is a huge turning point. It shows us Amu's deep-seated resentment toward all these societal expectations and her willingness to challenge them head on.
It really makes you wonder why she's so defiant. What could have happened in her past to make her this way?
Well, Roy gives us this brief glimpse into Amu's backstory and reveals that she grew up with an abusive father.
Oh, wow.
And that trauma clearly shaped her, leading to her rebellious nature and her absolute refusal to just conform to the expectations placed upon her as a woman in her society.
So it's like she's constantly trying to break free from all these constraints of her past.
Yeah.
But they were like embedded in the very fabric of her society.
Absolutely. It's this cycle that's so hard to escape. The abuse she suffered from her father really shaped her.
Yeah.
And now those wounds are influencing her own choices and relationships.
Makes me think about that scene where Papachi, Amu's dad, destroys her favorite gumboots.
Oh, gosh.
With her mother's pinking shears.
That's such a chilling detail, right?
It is.
On the surface, it's just a pair of boots.
Right.
But symbolically, it's Papachi's need to control.
Yeah.
To punish and diminish Amu.
Right.
Even in the smallest ways.
That image is just, it's stuck with me.
I know.
It's like he's trying to crush her spirit, her individuality.
Exactly. And it's this powerful reminder that even seemingly insignificant acts can have such a lasting impact.
It's true.
They shape our perceptions and influence our behavior.
Everything's connected, isn't it?
Yeah.
The small things, the big things, the past and the present. It's like Roy is showing us how all these threads weave together to create the tapestry of our lives.
Oh, I love that. And it brings us back to Sophie Mol's arrival.
Right.
And the disruption it causes.
Yeah.
Her presence shines a light on these already fragile family dynamics. Remember that seemingly innocent moment?
Oh, yeah.
When Coach Maria, the cook, kisses Sophie.
By smelling her hand.
By smelling her hands.
I thought that was so interesting.
I know, right?
It's such a tiny gesture.
Yeah.
But it really highlights those cultural differences.
Absolutely.
Between Sophie visiting from England and her family in India.
Sophie's confusion and discomfort really underscore just how unfamiliar this gesture is to her.
Right.
While Coach Maria's matter-of-fact approach shows how normal it is within her own culture. It's Roy's subtle way of showing how our upbringing and background totally shape our perceptions of the world.
And this difference is also clear in Sophie's innocent question about whether people are allowed to say damn in India.
Right after Amu uses the word.
I know.
Oh, that juxtaposition is brilliant.
I love that part.
It highlights the hypocrisy and the subtle prejudices that are present within this family. Amu, casually using damn, is rebellious.
Right.
While Sophie, innocently asking about it, shows the double standards that often apply to outsiders.
It's so true.
Totally.
And I can't forget Coach Maria's comment about how Sophie will, quote, raise our salaries and give us nylon saris for onam.
Oh, yeah.
When she grows up. It seems like a throwaway line.
It does.
But it reveals so much about Maria's place in the household.
And her hopes for the future.
Yes.
It speaks volumes about the power dynamics at play, both within the family and society as a whole.
Absolutely.
Maria's words show us her dreams of a more comfortable life.
Right.
But also they reinforce that social hierarchy that keeps her in a subservient role.
It's that constant push and pull.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder of those inequalities that are woven into their world.
Absolutely. And then we see these inequalities play out in the relationship between Sophie and Rahel.
Right.
Sophie, with her beach-colored skin, is the adored cousin, while Rahel, who's described as mud brown, feels loved a little less.
Roy is not holding back.
Nope.
When exploring the complexities of skin color and how it impacts family dynamics. From the very beginning, we see how differently these two girls are treated.
Yeah.
Which sets the stage for a rivalry that's just going to keep getting worse.
Oh, for sure. That scene by the wall where they're killing ants.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's almost disturbing, but so symbolic.
It is. It's like this microcosm of the world.
Exactly.
We see the casual cruelty, the power struggles, the way some lives are valued more than others. It really made me think about similar dynamics in my own life.
Absolutely. It makes you stop and reflect.
It does.
And Sophie's suggestion to leave one ant alive.
So it can be lonely.
Oh, yes.
It's chilling.
So chilling.
It shows a very different understanding of empathy and power than Rahel.
It's interesting how Sophie, even though she's so young, already seems to understand the privileges she has, while Rahel is just starting to grasp the limitations placed on her.
Yeah.
It's a heartbreaking realization that many of us face as we try to figure out these complex social hierarchies.
It is. It is. This brings us back to Amu and Velutha.
Okay.
Their unspoken attraction is like a thread that runs through the entire chapter.
Yeah.
Constantly reminding us of those love laws that rule their world.
Right. Their connection is dangerous because it breaks all those unwritten rules about who's allowed to love who.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that societal norms can be incredibly powerful.
They can.
They shape our desires and choices, even when those choices come at a huge personal cost.
Their stolen glances and unspoken longing create this tangible tension, you know?
I know exactly what you mean.
It's like they both know their attraction is forbidden.
Right.
But they can't help but feel it.
And the way Roy describes their connection as a moment where history is wrong-footed, caught off guard.
Yeah.
It's powerful. It suggests that their feelings, even if they're fleeting, actually challenge the very foundation of their society.
They're both yearning for something more.
Totally.
Something beyond the rigid boundaries of their world.
Exactly. But those boundaries, they're not easily broken, are they?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
And the consequences for crossing those lines can be devastating.
Absolutely.
Which is why Amu's defiance,
yes,
her willingness to push against those norms, is so inspiring.
But also terrifying.
It's both, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she's this walking contradiction.
Yeah.
She's a victim of the system she's fighting against.
Exactly.
And yet she can't help but rebel.
It's like it's in her nature.
Yeah.
Even if it means putting herself in danger.
It really shows her strength.
It does.
Her resilience, but also the deep scars left by her past.
It's true.
Her rebellious nature is both a shield and a cry for freedom.
Perfectly said. It's clear Roy wants us to really pay attention to these small things that often go unnoticed.
Right.
These tiny details that can reveal so much about us.
About who we are.
Exactly. The leaky pickle bottles.
The gumboots.
The gumboots.
The casual cruelty of killing those ants.
Yes. Amu saying, damn.
And Coach Maria's hope for Sophie's future.
They're all threads that come together to create this rich and complex tapestry of human experience.
It's true. And this chapter feels like a turning point.
Definitely.
A shift in the whole narrative.
Yeah.
Like something big is about to happen.
Oh, it definitely is. The seeds of future conflict are planted right here in this chapter.
Right.
The unspoken attraction between Amu and Velutha.
Yeah.
The rivalry between the twins and Sophie, Amu's rebellious spirit.
Yeah.
They're all forces that are going to collide as the story unfolds.
So much has happened in this one chapter alone.
I know.
I'm really eager to hear your final thoughts.
Okay.
Before we finish up. Yeah, it does feel like we're right on the edge of something major.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these little events are building up towards this huge climax.
Yeah.
What do you think Roy is trying to show us through these small things?
Well, that's the genius of this book, right? Roy forces us to pay attention to those subtle moments, those little details that we might normally just miss entirely.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like she's saying, hey, the really important things in life, they're not always these big pronouncements or grand gestures.
Right.
They can be as simple as a look, a single word, even the smell of someone's hand.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the weight of those small moments.
And you see, think about what those small things are in our lives.
Yeah.
That actually hold so much weight, the things that shape our relationships and define our experiences,
Absolutely. We're all navigating this incredibly complex web of social norms, unspoken expectations, and our own personal baggage, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's often those seemingly insignificant moments, the little things, that reveal the most about who we are and how we fit into the world around us.
That takes me back to Sophie and Rahel. Sophie, the beach-colored cousin, she represents this world of privilege and adoration, while Rahel, the mud-brown twin, experiences a totally different kind of love, one that feels less, less whole somehow.
Right. Roy's not afraid to explore how skin color can affect even family dynamics.
Yeah.
Even within a family that seems to embrace both Indian and Western cultures. It reminds us that these societal biases can creep into even our most private spaces.
And what about that scene by the well?
Oh, yeah, with the ants.
Where the girls are just casually killing ants on their way to church.
Yes, such a disturbing image.
It is.
But it really ties into those bigger themes in the novel.
It's a powerful image.
Yeah, it's like a metaphor, right?
Yeah.
The ants, all dressed in red,
right,
marching in line.
On their way.
They represent those rigid societal structures that govern their world.
Oh, I like that.
And when the girls crush them, it's almost like this act of rebellion, even though it's a cruel one. It's like they're trying to grasp some control in a world that feels out of control and unpredictable.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And Sophie's suggestion to keep one ant alive.
So it can be lonely.
Yeah.
So chilling.
Chilling. It shows a really different way of thinking about power and empathy than Rahel has.
You could see it as a sign of Sophie's naivety or even cruelty.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks more to her privilege and her inability to understand what it truly means to be marginalized, to feel isolated and alone in a world that doesn't really see or value you.
That's a subtle but profound point. It reminds us that how we see power and empathy comes from our own experiences and the structures we live in.
Exactly. And this idea, this notion that even the tiniest actions can ripple outward, it's so central to this whole book.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this amazing chapter, what's the one thing you really want our listener to take away from it all? What should they be thinking about as they keep reading?
I think the most important question is, what happens when all these tensions finally reach a breaking point?
Oh, good question.
How will the characters handle the consequences
Yeah.
of their desires, their choices, their defiance.
Right.
Will they be able to break free from their world, or will they be trapped by this god of small things that seems to control their lives?
Such a thought-provoking question. Makes me want to jump right back into the book and see what happens next.
I know, right?
This has been such an incredible exploration of Chapter 8 of The God of Small Things. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and remember, the exploration doesn't stop here. It's just the beginning.